Okay, so update on the Jack and Jill. Okay, so I've decided that I'm again not going to allow this crush thing to happen. It is over and done with. Obviously you can't change chemicals in your brain, and there's obviously still going to be an attraction, but I'm not going to pine over it or pursue it or any of that. So, what led me to this decision? I don't know. It's just kind of like a feeling, Sometimes that just happens. But anyway, last night, I went to the gym with Lena, and then he called and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing tonight?" Because normally, like, it's Tuesday night. Normally we go to Flanagan's, but everybody had these huge assignments, and were like, and just doing their own thing, right? So anyway, um, obviously nobody was going out, but he called me and he's like, "Well, I gotta finish this paper. Do you want to come over maybe like 9 o'clock?" And I was like, "Hey, depends on whether or not I'm done this and that. I got other things to do." So I give him a call, or I text him around 9 o'clock, and he's like, "Yeah, come over. We'll figure out what we're doing when you get here." So I go over, and we get there, and we decide to go to like this, because he lives in like this little like suburban area, and there's really nothing around. But he said there's this nice little bar that played live music, so we walked down there and had like 6 or 7 beer each, and just chatted for a couple hours until the bar closed, and then made our way back to his place, played some cards. We're setting up to watch a movie, and then I missed the fucking train again. And like, honest to God, didn't do this on purpose, because by this point already I had kind of already decided, like, I wasn't feeling the crush bit. I had worked it up to be a little bit more, but no, like, I didn't plan on missing the fucking train again, because I had other stuff going on. Like, it's December 6th, and I needed to put out my gifts from St. Nicholas in Hannah's shoes and stuff. Like, it's a German tradition thing that they do. And it was my dad's birthday, and I was supposed to call him, and I don't remember. There's like 5 things that I had to do, and I fucked it up by missing that stupid train. But part of it was just that we were both having like just conversation. We were just talking, and one thing always leads to another, and you never have that silent moment where you're like, "Oh, what are we doing? What time is it?" We just kept talking like constantly, and but through the course of the conversation, we talked about Natalie, and because I love that he's totally into talking about people like I am. I mean, it sounds like gossip, but I love to pick apart people's personalities and their tendencies, and what are they gonna do next? People are such mysteries, and he likes the same thing. For a guy, that's really rare, and you totally get an opposite, like a totally different world opinion from it, because he's a guy. But anyway, we talked about Natalie, and he's like, "Yeah, she's, like, what did you think of Natalie?" And he totally, like, opened the door for me to say something first, to get a feel for what I was going to say. And I was like, "I don't know, all I remember about her is that she was wearing this bright blue coat. Like, I don't really remember anything about her." He's like, "Exactly. That's the thing about Natalie, is that there's nothing memorable about her. She's just Natalie. She's just there. She's something to do." And those are his words, that he'd just rather have somebody to hang out with than, he said this, "I'd rather just have her to, as boring as she is, she's much more interesting than hanging out at home with grandma." And then he threw in the line, "But that's not what you are." And then we just kept talking. But I don't know. I think that I totally am that friend. I'm totally just. And we had to talk earlier, like way before, about me and Erin, and how Erin and I are the only girls. She's the only girl in their group, and I just happen to stick with them, and so then that makes us the 2 only girls. And he mentioned to me one day on the subway, like the first time, I think, like, it was the first real conversation we had, and it like blindsided me that this random dude, is like insightful, because I totally didn't expect it from him. But anyway, he said, "Do you think that you and Erin are just friends out of necessity? I mean, because you're both in Europe and you're both girls, you need somebody to talk to and gossip to and stuff. That's why you're friends." And I talked, like, that's not the whole issue, and I think sometimes that me and Erin are, but I brought it up to him, like, are he and I friends out of necessity? He's like, and he skirted it, and he said, "But that's not a bad thing, to be friends just as necessity, because I never would have met so many people, all of these people that, like, I never would have hung out with them before. Like, we've got creepy Steve, who's totally, like, the most bizarre Star Wars fanatic, like, reads comic books and hangs out on his computer and stuff, but he's actually kind of interested. I mean, he's totally creepy, but I never would ever spend more than one evening with the guy, and as chance has it, every Tuesday night he's out, you know? And so I get to know him, and Brian the same way. And so he validated our friendship on the fact that we never would have met before, but we have interesting conversation, but that was all that was said. And so that being said, through conversation with him, I've discovered a intellectual liking to him, if that makes any sense. He stimulates my conversation mode I haven't had that in a while. And that to me is more important right now than having a crush. And so it supersedes it. It has completely wiped it out. So there's no crush anymore. There's just a thirst for more conversation, more knowledge, more time with this guy, and because he's interesting and because he makes me think about different things and stuff. And I think maybe I'm getting a little bit sick of him because I've seen him like probably 7 days straight. I mean, and that's also what's cool is, and Andrew was like that too. And I love that. It's like my favorite thing is where I don't ever feel like I'm calling too much. Because the day that I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna call. I saw him yesterday. I may be thinking about him, but I'm not gonna call. And then he calls and is like, hey, you want to do something? Andrew was like that too, and I love that because then you know, we just enjoy each other's company, and there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, so that's that. I'm done with the whole crush bit, I think. He's obviously still in my mind, but so is Andrew. I don't know. I have an email from Andrew, and I don't know if I haven't read it yet. I avoided it because I don't know if he watched my other video. I don't know if he watches these. And I didn't think about that when I posted the last one. Maybe he wrote something about it. I don't know. And so I made the decision to write this, or to make this blog before I read his email, because I don't want that to alter it. I don't want to talk on here to him when it's not to him. I don't want to say things that may not be true just because I know he's watching. I don't know. I don't know why I got on that tangent. But I'm still thinking about him. I'm still totally curious about what's going to go on with that. I just love how, oh God, I feel so much better now that I have somebody to be talking to, and my thoughts are flowing clearer. And because I've kind of got that crap, that wall of crap that was up front, I bulldozed it down, and everything's flowing a lot nicer now because I have an outlet. That stop, like I pulled the cork. Brian, fuck, I said his name. Jack pulled the plug, and it's nice. Fuck, and this was such a good one. Well, I'm gonna post it anyways. Give me feedback. I don't know. I'm back. Hi Andrew, if you're watching. Yeah, roller coaster is done. I hope a new one awaits me. Cheers, everyone.